don't try this at home. Don't do it. Don't do it. That's what wrestling has told us repeatedly. And I can see why. Because wrestling is dangerous. When you can get injured doing big stunts or simple moves. All these injuries hurt. Some more than others. But some injuries, you can actually say, helped people's careers. Here are 11 injuries that definitely didn't help the wrestlers' careers. In fact, in some cases, they actually ended careers. Now, some injuries do a lot more than end a wrestler's career. Some of them end a wrestler's life, whether it's immediately or it sneaks up on them. But I classify those injuries more as tragic. So if you're wondering, oh, why have I left this off the list, then that's the reason. Anyway, here are the 11 most inconvenient injuries in wrestling. Number 11, Eddie Guerrero. Now, Eddie Guerrero eventually got over and became the world champion, so this injury didn't derail his career that much. But a terrible time to get injured is right when you debut for the biggest company in the world. This is the biggest moment of your career and you're debuting in a big angle. And what happens at the height of your success? You get an injury. I mean, that's proper inconvenient. Eddie Guerrero is one of the best wrestlers of all time, and probably my favourite wrestler of all time. If he was able to wrestle from the start when he started in WWE, who's to say he couldn't have had earlier success? Who's to say he couldn't have had more than one WWE title reign? It's a shame. It's a shame. Also, as a man who hasn't been laid in 5 years, I can't think of a worse injury than to your arm or to your wrist or in that area. Oof, oof. Number 10, Bret Hart. Now, WCW was probably going out of business anyway. It was on a proper downward spiral by 1999, but having one of your biggest stars injured couldn't have helped. Bret Hart wasn't booked great when he first came to WCW, but booking can always change. Russo had him as a crucial part of his plan, and maybe he might have built the company around Bret. Now, Russo storylines haven't always been great. For more on that, check out our That's Why They Were Bollocks episode on Vince Russo. But nonetheless, even if Vince Russo's storylines weren't great, Bret Hart is one of the best wrestlers of all time. His in-ring work is so good that he could probably get over despite the booking. Imagine if he didn't get injured, how good that match with Goldberg could have been. If he was still wrestling, how good the matches could have been with some of WCW's other wrestlers who had potential but just didn't have that star-making feud, like Rey Mysterio or Booker T or AJ Styles. Who knows what could have happened? Number 9, Brock Lesnar. Great match. Oh, what a great match. Oh, fuck. WrestleMania main event, Brock Lesnar vs Kurt Angle. One of them has their neck broken and is about to go into surgery, so he drops the title to the up-and-comer, the next big thing. They manage to have a great match, and then Brock Lesnar is about to pull off a shooting star press to make the match even more iconic. And then this happens. I mean, what an inconvenient time for that to happen. I mean, that's the last thing you need. Oh, don't you just hate it when, you're having a good day at work, and then you go for a shooting star press, and that happens. Oh, real pain in the neck. Oh. Number 8, The Undertaker. Brock, what's going on, mate? What's going on? What you doing? If you're not getting injured, you're in ring with someone who's getting injured. One of the most memorable moments in wrestling history is when The Undertaker's over 2-decade-long WrestleMania undefeated streak ended. Sadly, not the most memorable match though. I mean, I thought it was a great match, but a lot of people were disappointed. I remember at the urinal at the time, people were saying it's not even that great of a match. I mean, it's just a shame the streak ended for a match that wasn't that great. Then later, we found out that The Undertaker had been concussed. Oh, what an inconvenient time to get injured. Oh, get bunged in a coffin and it gets set on fire? Fine, yeah. Get thrown in a grave and buried alive? No, fine, yeah, fine. A tall bloke in his skin-tight suit puts chloroform on your face? Fine. Brock Lesnar pushes your leg backwards, fucked. Number 7. Nigel Mcguinness. In 2009, Nigel Mcguinness injured his arm in a tag team match. Then in 2009, he had what was described as a minor injury when his spine got compacted. Now I think that injuring your spine is quite a major injury. I mean, you could do with your spine being healthy, really, but on Wikipedia it was listed as a minor injury. So, it was bad, but good news for Nigel Mcguinness, as he was about to sign with the WWE, the biggest wrestling company in the world. Go on, mate, you deserve it. One of the best wrestlers in the world. One of the best wrestlers the UK has ever seen. Go on, mate, best of luck. Fuck, failed the injury test. What an inconvenient time to get injured. What an inconvenient time. Now we all had to watch that documentary where he was, moaning for over an hour. And he insulted Preston as well, which is a bit of a shame. But yeah, what an inconvenient time to get injured. Number 6. Daniel Bryan after WrestleMania 30. But good news, Nigel Mcguinness's mate, another Ring of Honor wrestler, then going by the name Bryan Danielson, was signed for the WWE. And he had some great matches, some great promos, and fans loved him. For weeks, months, years, fans have been wanting Daniel Bryan to get his chance to be the face of the company. And they wanted it so bad. They chanted so much so that for WrestleMania 30, the WWE changed their plans. And Daniel Bryan would go on to win the title in the main event. And a month later, he's injured. For fuck's sake. Number 5. Daniel Bryan after WrestleMania 31. But there's good news, he comes back, and a year later he wins the Intercontinental Championship at WrestleMania 31 in an 8-man ladder match to become a Grand Slam champion, and he gets praised by loads of legends. Then he gets injured again. It's inconvenient, proper inconvenient. Number 4, Sami Zayn. Remember when Sami Zayn was in NXT, and he was perhaps the second biggest babyface in the company, and the first one was fucked, so some could say that he was the biggest babyface in the company, and he won the NXT title. He lost it again, but still, he was a main eventer on NXT. He had loads of momentum, and when Raw was in Montreal, he got a US title match with John Cena. When John Cena was putting on quality matches too, the crowd was excited to see this geezer. He came out and the pop was incredible. The crowd was excited to see this geezer who could do some of the most incredible moves I've ever seen. And Sami Zayn waves to the crowd and bang, injures his arm. I mean, that's inconvenient. That is inconvenient. This injury led to him being out for 7 months, and since he's come back, his career has never been the same. I mean, who knows if he could have been a main eventer if he didn't get injured, but this injury definitely didn't help. That's proper inconvenient. Number 3, Finn Balor. Now this is proper inconvenient. Finn Balor, former NXT champion, shredded abs, model good looks, great wrestler, and if you heard his voice, if I was. He debuts on the main roster. He gets a world title shot at SummerSlam with Seth Rollins. Fans, a little bit annoyed at the time, because, the belt wasn't great, so people were booing the belt a little bit, but still, 2 of the best wrestlers in the world, they have a great match, and then Seth Rollins goes for a buckle bomb, and bang. Finn Balor is injured. He's injured for 6 months, and even though he won the title, he has to relinquish it. Another shoulder injury. Come on, geezers, why are you wearing your knee pads? Get some shoulder pads on, mate. No knees are on this list. Number 2, Hulk Hogan. Now, many people will most probably agree Hulk Hogan is a bit of a cunt. Now, many people inside the wrestling business had probably thought this for years. Many wrestling fans had probably thought this for years. And then, when his racism was revealed in 2015, everybody knew. Hulk Hogan, bit of a cunt. He's held people down, sabotaged careers, disrupted a potential wrestling union, and also he's a racist. Hulk Hogan could be described as one of the many villains in wrestling. Now, most villains in films have an origin story. Most of them start off as good guys, then something happens and they turn. And this might have been what made Hulk Hogan turn. When Hulk Hogan was training to be a wrestler in the 1970s, another wrestler called Hiro Matsuda was training him. And he wanted to figure out who doesn't have what it takes to be a wrestler. And he thought, you know what I'll do? I'll break this geezer's leg. And you know, that will see if he's got what it takes to make it in wrestling. Now, I don't know if he broke his leg on purpose. What an inconvenient time to get injured. Right at the start of his career and he gets injured. Who knows what could have happened if this incident didn't happen? Maybe he'd be more trusting in people and not have the needs to fuck people over and damage careers. Maybe this sparked his racism. Maybe. Who knows? Number 1. Magnum Ta. Terry's in wrestling. They don't have the greatest of luck, no. In 1985, Magnum Ta had beat Tully Blanchard in a Great I Quit match to win the US title at Starrcade. Magnum Ta was one of the biggest babyfaces that they had in the company at this point. And Dusty Rhodes groomed him to be his biggest star. He was going to be the big babyface of the NWA, and he was going to feud with Ric Flair, and he could be getting the world title. He must have thought life is great, so he decides to drive his Porsche, and then crash. His C4 and C5 vertebrae explode. The right side of his body was paralysed for months. He would never wrestle again. It's inconvenient. It's proper inconvenient. And it's tragic. Like all of the wrestling injuries on this list, they're all very sad stories, and we hope that all of the wrestlers, 10 wrestlers on this list are doing well, and we wish them well. Now, you know what, even Hulk Hogan, I don't like all of your beliefs, and you might not be the nicest of geezers, but I hope you're doing okay as well, so I hope you're all doing okay. And there were the top 11 most inconvenient injuries in wrestling.